Hi. So for as long as there have been innovations, there have also been people to critique these innovations. And these are 5 predictions that I'm glad were ignored and rejected during their time. In 5th place, I have Western Union claiming that the telephone was an ineffective means of communication and that it had way too many shortcomings. I'm glad that this idea was ignored because in reality, even though at the time the telephone may have actually been underdeveloped, it had so much potential, and this group was completely failing to see that the telephone could become something so much greater if it just was developed more, as we have seen played out in our lives. Because of the older versions of the telephone improved, became smaller, more adaptable, even mobile, as we have cell phones that we carry around with us everywhere. In 4th place, I have Michigan Savings Bank president explaining to Henry Ford's lawyer that the automobile was only a fad or a novelty and that the horse was here to stay. Although that may have seemed true at the time, today actually the horse is a novelty and the car is what is here to stay, what we use in our everyday lives. And so I'm glad that Ford's lawyer and other individuals of that period ignored this president's criticism, because if investments would not have been put into Ford and into the car industry, maybe automobiles would not have been developed and people today like us wouldn't have such wide access to cars that are so efficient. In 3rd place, I have Daryl Zanuck, who was a Fox producer in the 20th century, and he said that people would get sick of staring at plywood boxes for long periods of time. When he said that, he failed to consider 2 things. Number 1, that people actually get entertained very easily and can stare at plywood boxes for a long period of time. And 2, that if man did become bored by staring at plywood boxes, he would improve the idea. And because man did get tired of it and did improve the idea, we have screens that, fortunately for Fox, people are willing to stare at for huge periods of time. In 2nd place, I have the King of Prussia claiming that people wouldn't be willing to pay good money to get from Berlin to Potsdam in an hour when they could just ride their horse there for free in a day. Now, although this may have been true for the King of Prussia, who had most likely a lot of free time and a lot of horses, this actually isn't really too practical for us today because, like the motto, like time is money. And for so many businessmen, an entire day could mean millions of dollars for a corporation or for a business. And so, in reality, actually, a lot of people are willing to pay even more money for faster train services, transportation, for flights that just can help people get to places in shorter periods of time so that they can use the rest of their time more efficiently. And so in this way, the King of Prussia kind of failed to consider just how important time could actually be. And in 1st place, I have Tom Watson, the IBM chairman in 1943, claiming that the world market for computers was maybe about 5 computers. I think he should have added a million to the 5, and I think possibly because the computer at the time wasn't an idea that was too established and the computer was really big and very expensive, maybe for that reason he thought that people wouldn't be interested in buying computers in like large amounts. But again, I feel that Watson didn't see just the potential that the computer had to revolutionize the world. And if IBM would have listened to him, so the computer may not have been developed or may not have come to the place where it is today in our lives. And so I'm really glad that IBM failed to listen to his prediction and to his criticism, and that they just continued to develop the computer. And for this reason, I'm glad that innovators throughout humanity and throughout history have not always listened to negative criticisms, but have actually been able to develop their inventions, because without many of these inventions, our lives would not be as efficient and enjoyable as they are today. Thank you.